I just wanted to go over a little bit of background information. And some of this I'll start fairly general and then get a little bit more specific. I also want to mention, so I don't forget later, that there is a presentation that's almost an hour long available on our website regarding the collective bargaining process generally, and we moved that up to the front page today in case anyone would like to see that. So the city has collective bargaining agreements with 3 unions: the International Association of Firefighters, the IAFF, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, and the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP. So those contracts are negotiated by teams for the respective unions, which are made up of city employees, and sometimes they will have an outside attorney or a union agent who may or may not be an attorney. And then the city's team, which is made up of non-union management employees. It's always been the practice of this administration to meet with council in closed session before negotiating a new contract, and we do that to discuss strategy. During those closed session meetings, the team always discusses potential items that may be addressed in negotiations, possible items that will come up, possible proposals we expect from the union, and our target range as it relates to wage increases and other economic items. Those meetings occur in closed session in accordance with a long-standing exception in the Open Meetings Act. And that's because the legislature recognized that it would place a public body at a strategic disadvantage if we had to have those discussions about negotiation goals, strategies, and financial information in an open forum or in any context where union representatives would be able to have that information. So, as an example, if you're negotiating against somebody that knows exactly the limit of your authority, they don't have really any incentive to go any place other than exactly to the limit of your authority. This is similar to the idea that council can meet in closed session to discuss real estate transactions what the city might be willing to buy or sell a piece of property for, or pending litigation where the council needs to be able to speak candidly in conversations about legal strategies. So once those closed session conversations have occurred, the teams for this city and the union meet to negotiate the contract. During this administration's tenure, since the spring of 2017, the city's negotiated 3 AFSCME contracts, 3 IAFF contracts, and 3 FOP contracts, including the one that currently is before council. Similar to other union negotiations, including the current 2020 to 2023 FOP contract, the city team met with council in closed session to discuss acceptable parameters for negotiations prior to the start of negotiations. So there are a couple of things that were different here, and those are that the city and the union agreed to limit the scope of negotiations in advance. We agreed to try to complete negotiations in 1 day, and we limited the size of the negotiating teams. So partly that's because we recognize that we want to be good partners for our FOP employees and facilitate a more productive dialogue in the hope of accomplishing good things together. That may have had the unintended consequence of seeming like this was a surprise because it came up quickly and it came up ahead of what would be the normal schedule, but I assure you that was not anybody's intention. In terms of the FOP agreement that's currently before council, on September 6th and September 26, 2022, council was in closed session with staff to discuss strategy for negotiations for a total of several hours. After the second closed session, the city's team met with the union on November 4th and negotiated a contract with the FOP under the direction and consistent with the authority provided by the city council. So the contract that's before council is consistent with the authority and the direction that was given to staff by council in the closed session.
All right, any questions for Elizabeth? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, Elizabeth. Appreciate it.